Well, EFF President Floyd Shivambu, Deputy President rather, Floyd Shivambu joins us in the studio now. Mr. Shivambu, thank you very much for giving us some of your Saturday afternoon. You know, when the VBS scandal first broke, the EFF was adamant that this bank is being targeted because it's a black-owned bank. Now, when the report comes out by the South African Reserve Bank, you believe that everybody fingered in the report needs to face the music for stealing other people's money. Why the change of heart?
Look, I think we must give you clearer context of what happened. You'll remember early this year, the South African Reserve Bank, with concurrence of the Minister of Finance, placed the VBS Bank under curatorship. And the reason for that was because National Treasury had written to all the municipal institutional depositors to VBS to say that they should withdraw their deposits with the VBS because it is inconsistent with the Municipal Finance Management Act. And when those mass withdrawals happened, the bank's capital adequacy was undermined, and then it then endangered the other retail depositors in terms of the monies that they had put with the bank. And then the interventions that we made ourselves through our parliamentary caucus as the EFF was to say that let us save the bank. If there is wrongdoing on the people who are running the bank, let us act against them. We consistently have said that, but the bank itself must be saved. And the reason for that is because, one, it's a black-owned bank where it says that it must be retained in black hands. It doesn't have to be the then existing directors of the South African Reserve Bank, but also it is the only bank in South Africa that has been giving mortgage finance to rural communities in the sense of giving loans for housing purposes in lands which are occupied through permissions to occupy, which are the PTOs. And then now there's these allegations against us that we received money from the Reserve Bank, from the VBS, and it is not true. That is why we state, and I stated now in the statement that I've issued, that I have never received any money from the VBS, and I've never had any dealings with VBS. And interestingly is that the source of such information, it's a reporter from Daily Maverick who claims that they are senior people from the South African Reserve Bank who gave her information unanimously to say, or anonymously.
Mr. Shivambu, are you willing to discuss your brother's involvement in the VBS banking scandal?
I'm not mandated to come and talk on my brother's behalf in terms of his involvement in the business relationship, which in a statement which he issued yesterday, he said he had with Vera.
The allegation is that somehow, either directly or indirectly, the 16 million rand that your brother supposedly earned for consultancy fees in one single year somehow either found it to you or to the EFF.
No, that is not the reflection of reality. I actually have spoken to my younger brother, Brian Shivambu, and asked him where does this come from. And then he printed the entirety of his bank statements, the VBS bank statements, from since he opened the bank account. There's nowhere where there is a linkage to my account, none whatsoever.
It may not be
in
to
terms
your
of what had happened. And even in my account, there is no money which ever came from a VBS account, not just his account, from any VBS account. I've never received any money from any VBS account.
So you can state categorically now, absolutely no fraudulent money whatsoever made it from your bank account, your brother's bank account, or anybody else that's linked to the VBS banking scandal to you, any member of the EFF, or the party itself, directly or indirectly?
I have not received any money from any VBS account, and that is what I emphasize in the statement that I issued. And I want to give you some context that this information that we are responding to, the source is a person who claims to have spoken to the Reserve Bank. I spoke this morning with the governor of the South African Reserve Bank to check if any of the Reserve Bank deputy governors or himself have given information to Daily Maverick. And then he sent a clear text message, which is going to now confirm with a letter to say that none of the HODs and none of the deputy governors in a Reserve Bank has ever given information to the effect that I have received 10 million. So that thing is fake news that is being spread.
I understand that, Mr. Shivambu, but I'm going to ask the question again. If
Yes.
it's not your bank account, any other EFF member's bank account or the party itself, has any money flown fraudulently from the VBS banking scandal to the party?
Nicholas, the EFF has got possibly a million or more members. And how do you want me to now say if there are EFF members who got money from VBS or not? Maybe there are members of the EFF who have got bank accounts with a... I'm not dealing with that.
Has the party enjoyed any money from the VBS scandal or not?
The EFF is going to have a press conference on Tuesday to deal with questions that relate to its finances. I do not communicate in terms of finances with regards to the EFF. I'm here to clarify the absolute fact that I've never received any money from the VBS.
Okay.
Yes.
You're rallying against faceless sources within the Reserve Bank itself. You've said that there are people working and using weapons of mass deception. Do you know any of them? Anybody responsible? Anybody that you have an idea?
I think we are just working on the basis of the question list because I've just answered the question now. So you still ask the question even when it's answered. I said to you that I spoke with the Reserve Bank governor this morning and asked him if the Reserve Bank has issued information to any news agency or to any reporter to the effect that I received 10 million from VBS, and he categorically denied it. And actually, in the text messages, I said that I am going to speak publicly that if it is the Reserve Bank that has issued such information, if there's a person I would suspect would be the bank's registrar, because he has been the one whom, when this issue happened, we contacted, one, but two, when they came to the Standing Committee on Finance, I asked a specific question on did the South African Reserve Bank and the curator who is curating VBS follow a competitive bid when they were appointing Nedbank to be the one that take the depositors' money in the process of curatorship. And he couldn't respond to that. He has not responded to that. So I thought that maybe it is him. But the governor had assured me that none of the senior executives and the deputy governors have issued any information that says that I have received 10 million rand. Even if they had issued that information, it's false.
Mr. Shivambu, the EFF has released a statement stating that anybody responsible for the pilfering of people's money must face the music. If it is proven that your brother Brian Shivambu is fingered and is legally responsible or legally implicated in this pilfering of almost 2 billion rand, would you support him going to jail?
I think you're asking a very ridiculous question. This is what happens, right? It's not only the EFF. In the statement that we've just issued now, in the statement which he issued himself, he said that if anyone is found to have acted outside of the confines of the law, that person must be held accountable. And he even affirmed that he's going to fully cooperate with the law enforcement agencies, despite the fact that the report that is running around now was issued and publicized without those that did the report speaking to him. And it is not within the confines of the law in South Africa to pass a judgment against a person that they have not spoken to.
So the EFF has come out and said that this is an attack on your attempts to bring about political change in South Africa. Why then?
Look, you know, one thing that you must always know is that in the process of political struggles that unsettle the establishment, in the process of exposing the shenanigans of a former Minister of Finance and then he falls on his sword, you will always have enemies and haters who will try to embroil you in some sort of wrongdoings and maladministration and corruption easily. They get excited, they get exuberant. Hey, Floyd is corrupt, hey, Floyd has got 10 million rands and everything else there. I do not have 10 million, I've never received any 10 million.
But we know that of may well have received money from the VBS scandal. You guys are not confirming nor denying that at this stage.
There's no report that says that the EFF has received 10 million. And I know as a matter of fact that the statements that my brother showed me did not make mention of the EFF in terms of any man. If there is such, it could be whatever issue that has got nothing to do with the issue around the VBS.
Lastly, Mr. Shivambu,
yes.
You made no bones about the fact that you did not support a deputy director in the Treasury, Ishmael Momaniat.
Yes.
And you centrally said that he is trying to undermine black leadership, the leadership of the DG and also even the minister itself. Yes. It poses some questions now because he is central to the establishment of that investigation into VBS Bank. Is it unfair to draw any correlation with your vitriolic attack against Mr. Momaniat and perhaps the uncovering of wrongdoing within VBS itself?
I don't know if unfair is the correct word. I actually think it's stupid to even suggest that our correct characterization of Ismail Momoniat is linked to this issue. We have made a correct observation which we stick by, that Ismail Momoniat is racist, he undermines black leadership in National Treasury, and by the way, he is responsible for the crisis that is happening in VBS because he is the one who is responsible for the municipal accounts in all the banks. And he knew from 2014 that there are municipalities that have got accounts with a mutual bank, despite the fact that the law says that you cannot have, as a municipality, an account with a mutual bank. And not only the VBS bank was exposed to municipal accounts, even the Grahamstown mutual bank was exposed to municipal accounts. You should have acted earlier to then say to the Reserve Bank, to say to the bank itself, to say to the municipalities that you are not allowed to bank with a mutual bank. You can only bank with a bank in terms of the Banks Act. And the mutual banks are not established in terms of the Banks Act. So ultimately, and that is what we say in the statement that we issued, that there has to be a holistic commission of inquiry to check into what has been the role of regulatory bodies, in particular the Reserve Bank, in particular the Financial Conduct Authority, if there are issues of conduct that are involved there, in particular the Prudential Authority that has been established in the Reserve Bank and National Treasury. Because the municipal deposits that the VBS had received were not supposed to be there if the laws are followed to the latter in terms of what the Municipal Finance Management Act says.
We wait with bated breath for this press conference on Tuesday. Maybe a parting shot from you. Will it become clearer as to whether or not VBS has received, or either EFF have received money flown from the VBS banking scandal?
The parting shot from me is that any attempts, the weak and shameful attempts to link us to corruption will never succeed. We are fighting the struggle for economic freedom and will fight against all manifestations of corruption, even when people get exuberant and do wrong things and try to defile our names and try to defame us. We're not retreating. It's no retreat. It's no surrender.
Very strong words from Floyd Shivambu as he came into studio to discuss, as Deputy President of the EFF, the party and his role in allegations that money flowed from the VBS banking scandal to the party itself. Says categorically that no money flowed to his personal bank account, but has suggested that we look into the press conference this coming Tuesday by the EFF for further information as to whether or not money flowed to the party.